The upcoming ISO 9001 revision matters, but some of the loudest claims about the new revision go too far. There is a lot of confusion regarding the timeline, what the draft really says, and where organizations will need to make the big changes overnight. In this video, I'll cut through the noise and focus on what the current ISO information supports, what draft guidance suggests, and what can you do to prepare the new revision in a practical way. This is part of the series, and let's go further.
Welcome to Advanced Quality Programs with Juan Navarro.
If you use ISO 9001, you have probably heard that a new edition is on the way. That is true. ISO's current public information shows that the revision is in progress, with publications planned for September 2026. This means there's no need to panic, but there is a good reason to prepare carefully. The real risk is not the revision itself. The real risk for enterprises and for you as a quality professional is reacting to rumors or waiting too long to understand where things are heading. Today, I'll explain to you what we know from official sources, what current draft summary suggests, and how to get your quality management system ready without overreacting. So let's go from why is this update happening right now. ISO standards are reviewed periodically to ensure that they stay useful. Current ISO information confirms that the revision process began after the global consultation in 2023, and the uploaded edition is meant to keep the ISO 9001 in line with the changing businesses' needs and stakeholders' expectations worldwide. The key point is this: the revision looks like an update, but is not a complete rewrite. Current guidance suggests that the familiar structure will stay in place, which helps the ISO 9001 remain aligned with other management system standards. That matters because the world has changed, and it has changed significantly since 2015, with an increased focus on resilience, sustainability, supply chains, digital working, and stakeholder expectations. Now, let's clear up the biggest practical concern, the certification. Current guidance from the certification bodies points to a transition period of up to 3 years after the review standard is published. If the publication happens in September 2026, as planned, many organizations expect two transition periods to run until approximately September 2029. This aligns with the previous major ISO transitions, although the final arrangements are usually confirmed after publication. So the message is simple. There is no need to panic, but this is a very good reason to start preparing in a structured way. So let's focus on the main topics the committee is working on. These are areas where changes are most likely. 1. The climate change. In February 2024, ISO and the IAF announced an amendment that affects management system standards, including the ISO 9001. The amendment added a requirement in clause 4.1 for organizations to determine whether climate change is relevant or not. Is it a relevant issue actually? It also added a note to clause 4.2, stating that relevant interested parties may have requirements related to climate change engagement. In simple terms, you should assess whether climate change is relevant to your organization and record why. For some businesses, that relevance will be obvious. For others, it may be indirect. Either way, this is not a future idea. It is already part of the standard through the 2024 amendment, and it is expected to carry it into the revised edition. Second change, the quality culture and ethics. Next is the move from simply controlling quality to building a stronger quality culture. Current draft guidances suggest More emphasis on leadership, responsibility for promoting a quality culture and ethical behavior. Because the revised standard has not yet been published, it is best to treat this as a likely direction rather than a final requirement. Even so, it is useful, prompt, and ask yourself, how do leaders talk about quality? How are the right behaviors reinforced? All in your organization. What evidence shows that quality and ethics matters in day-to-day decisions and operations? These are sensible questions to address now, regardless of the final wording on the revision. And 3, resilience and risk management, because recent disruptions have shown how exposed organizations can be to supply chain failure, sudden change, operational shocks. Current draft summaries suggest a stronger focus on resilience and a clearer treatment of risks and opportunities. While the final text isn't settled, it points to a practical direction. A useful step now is to treat the risk as prevention and opportunity as planning, separated in management activities. One protects the business from harm, while the other helps to improve, adapt, and grow. Making that distinction now and clear can strengthen your system even before the new edition is published. Digital transformation, finally, is one of the changes. Technology. Current guidance points to greater recognition of digital ways of working, better use of data, and the reality of cloud-based and distributed systems. However, there is no clear basis for saying that organizations will be forced to adopt cloud systems or AI. A more accurate way to put it is that the revised standard is expected to reflect a more digital working environment while leaving organizations to decide which tools are the right for them in their context. The real question is now whether you must use new technology, or actually not whether you must use new technology, but whether your systems for information, for communication, and for decision making are effective for the way your organization works today with these technologies. So your 4-step action plan to start preparing. What should you start doing right now? Don't wait for the final revision. A strong quality system stays one step ahead. And here is the 4-step plan that I suggest you to help you prepare. Step 1, strengthen your view of the organization context and also the leadership. Review your clause 4 analysis and ensure that climate change has been considered, sustainability, and as a required activity by the 2024 amendment, discuss these topics highlighted in the current draft guidance: culture, ethics, resilience. These are discussions that you should address with your leadership team. Now, step 2, make your approach to risk and opportunities more deliberate. Regardless of the final wording of the update, many organizations benefit from separating the discussions of threats from opportunities. Use one process to control what could go wrong, and another, completely different, to explore the innovation and the performance. Now, step 3, assess how future-ready your quality management system is, your QMS. Review your current system against emerging topics: climate relevance, resilience, leadership behavior, digital tools. This review is valuable whether you are preparing for a transition or simply building a stronger organization. Finally, step 4, keep people informed and involved. That's one of the key ideas. Start building awareness now. Ensure managers, process owners, and the internal auditors understand the likely decision of change and the difference between confirmed requirements and the draft expectations. The ISO 9001 revision should be seen as a practical update, not a reason for alarming. Current ISO information points to the publication in September 2026, with a likely 3-year transition window. What is already clear is that climate change is part of it. as it is part of the standard now. And the future focus will be on leadership, on culture and resilience. That's clear. If your focus on those topics today is running, you will be an excellent practitioner, and you will be in an excellent position when the final text arrives. And that's it for today. Managing these changes can be difficult, but you do not have to do it alone. I have created a free future-ready QMS checklist that covers these topics as we discuss them. You can find it in the link on my page, Advanced Quality Programs. If you want clear, practical updates as the revision continues, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on, and write in the comments. Thank you for your support of my books, Life Quality Projects, The Quality Mindset, and The Principles of Quality. As always, stay excellent, keep improving, and look for the changes.
One small change triggers everything. Watch how agile thinking works. Inspect, adapt, repeat. Each step builds the next, creating confident, unstoppable momentum. This is The Quality Mindset by Juan Navarro. Get your copy now.